30 seconds.
Changes things a little bit. I call to order the regular meeting of the Lakewood City Council of June 23rd, 2014. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Murphy.
Here.
Shakti. Here. Roybal.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Quinn.
Here.
Paul. Coop.
Here.
Barraway. Kellen.
Here.
Wickman. Here. Harrison.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. And as always, I'd like to welcome everyone who's chosen to take part in their local government by coming out to see us tonight or by watching us at home, either on Comcast Channel 8 or on the website. Please, if you've got any cell phones or anything like that, please silence any sound-making devices. And with that, I would ask you to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. The first item on the agenda tonight is an absolutely delightful one to be participating in. I would ask the City Clerk Margie Greer to read it into the record while I go down to the podium. And in the meantime, I would invite Colleen and Brad to come on down and join me.
Item 4, proclamation, Green Mountain High School boys baseball team.
So it's with great pleasure, I'm sure, that Green Mountain High School alum and Mayor Pro Tem Adam Paul is going to read this proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation recognizing Green Mountain High School's championship baseball team. Whereas Green Mountain High School's baseball team won the 4A state championship this year, and whereas this is the first state baseball championship in the school's 40-year history, and whereas the City Council and the Green Mountain community is extremely proud of the players, coaches, school, and the program. Now, therefore, on behalf of the City Council and the people of the City of Lakewood, I, Bob Murphy, Mayor of the City of Lakewood, Colorado, by the virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby recognize Green Mountain High School's championship baseball team, given under my hand and seal of the City of Lakewood this 23rd day of June, 2014 AD.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Colleen Owens, principal of Green Mountain High School, and I just want to say how proud I am of our boys, and especially our coach. He's been with our school for a while now, and we've been working really hard. And I just want to say that things like this happen because of a community. And I wish you could have been at All-Star Park when we won the state championship, and we had hundreds, literally hundreds of alum and former players and parents who had kids at the school at one time all able to partake, and it was really, really special. So thank you very much for this, and we'll frame it and we'll put it in our main office so everybody can see it. So thank you.
I'd just like to echo what Colleen said. Again, Brad Madden, baseball coach. We know this starts at Little League. You talked about the Coyote Gulch being built, and that is a big thing. And that was made by you guys and helping with the Little League programs. And this is a great community to be a part of. I know our kids are proud of their community and proud of their high school. And thank you for honoring us.
Thank you.
Will the clerk please read item 5 into the record?
Item 5, presentation Lakewood Legacy Grants.
And I would ask both Keith and Dawn to come down to the podium.
Come on, Dad.
Oh, Elaine, come on. We're not limiting this. Anyone else?
I've done this before.
Yes, you have.
Good evening, Mayor and esteemed council people. We are very happy tonight. We have a check to present to Lakewood Rides for $20,000. That grant was also matched by the Department of Transportation. So I believe you got 40 then altogether? And you're purchasing some vans? Two vans.
For Lakewood Rides.
And that's for Lakewood Rides. And then $1,000 is going to go towards scholarships for some classes for older adults. So we're very happy to present this tonight. Thank you.
It might be... And I should have introduced you as being from Lakewood Legacy, but you might spend just a second talking about Lakewood Legacy and everything you do for our community.
Lakewood Legacy Foundation has been in existence for roughly 20-some years plus. This Lakewood Legacy Foundation exists to help improve the lives of those who live and work in the city of Lakewood through grants such as this.
Thank you for everything you do, and most especially for this evening. Dawn?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. My name is Dawn Sluter. I'm the Older Adult and Transportation Coordinator at the Clements Community Center. And we're very honored to receive this matching funds. This will aid us in purchasing 2 vehicles as well as some funding towards some more staff hours to help reduce the wait list for the Lakewood Rides program. And the staff and myself are very honored, and thank you very much.
You know, we talk so much about the growing population of seniors in Lakewood and the county and the country for that matter, and certainly transportation is the number one priority that most people mention. So this is a big help. Thank you so much.
Very, very large assistance.
Yeah, very large, right? All right. Thank you again for everything you do. Thanks. Will the clerk please read item 6 into the record?
Item 6, Resolution 2014-21, reappointing members to the Alameda Corridor Business Improvement District.
I'll ask Council President for a motion and just remind everyone that we're following state statute here in which the municipality, the business improvement district in which the municipality it exists has to, city council, governing body has to approve everything from the operating plan and budget to the appointment of board members. So we're just kind of following the state guidelines here. So with that, I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor Murphy, I move for the adoption of Resolution 2014-21.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any comments? Shakti? Did you have a comment? Okay. All right. All right, please cast your votes. And the motion passes unanimously. This is an editorial comment. It's been a few weeks since we've been here. I'm relearning some of the procedures. All right, on to public comment. This is the point in the meeting where the public is invited to address the City Council on items that do not appear on the agenda. All comments should be directed to City Council, and as always, we ask that everybody observe the decorum of council chambers and refrain from audible support or discord with the speakers. And there is a 3-minute time limit for public comments, so as you come down here, you'll see a green light. That will be on for 2.5 minutes, at which time the light will turn yellow and be your indicator that you have 30 seconds left. At that time, when the 3 minutes are reached, we'd ask you to wrap up your comments. And we have a roster, and I will first call on those who've indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster, and then open that opportunity to anyone else in chambers. So we have three folks from the same family here, so we'll start with Wayne Doherty.
Thank you for your time. My name is Wayne Doherty. I live at 3267 South Hoyt Way, and I'm here to speaking about the recent change in the zoning to allow beekeeping in the city. The role of city government is to provide protection for all of its citizens, and I repeat, all. But with the recent zoning change bringing hundreds of thousands of uncontrolled bees into the community, has made with no consideration with public safety whatsoever. Over 4,000 of your citizens, including myself, have a severe and fatal reaction to bee stings, and it's estimated that half the people who die from bee stings each year had no idea they had a bee allergy. Now I find myself in a position where I live just 4 doors down from someone who's keeping, I'm told, of over 60,000 bees. Needless to say, this is quite unsettling to my family and myself, and we're now faced with a situation where we should have to consider moving. Governments make mistakes, and certainly this is one of them. So I'm asking you to correct your mistake before the mistake becomes a tragedy. I'm requesting you to change the zoning law and take action immediately to remove all beekeeping hives in the city. This needs to be the city's top priority before anyone is injured or loses their life. So far, who I've spoke to, my requests have fallen on deaf ears. Backyard beekeeping is not only a nuisance, it's a public health threat, and which the city has created and has the responsibility to resolve. Bees kill more people every year than stray dogs, mountain lions, snakes, and bears. But if any one of those wandered into the city would take quick action. Even if a single mosquito showed up with West Nile virus, you guys would be jumping into action. The city needs to reconsider this and get this removed from backyards because it was put in place with no thought whatsoever with public safety in mind. Thank you.
Thank you. Emily Doherty.
Hi, I'm Emily Doherty. I live at 3267 South Hoyt Way, and I am here to tell you why I think bees should be banned from backyards. This jar of honey doesn't look after the neighborhood kids or doesn't shovel snow off the sidewalks like my dad does, but it's still more important than my dad. This jar of honey can't provide for my family or help raise me, but this jar of honey is more important than my dad. This jar of honey can't help and won't catch a stray dog or help a lost child like my dad has done. But to the city of Lakewood and this council, it's more important than my dad. This jar of honey doesn't pay property tax, but somehow this council still feels that this jar of honey is more important than my dad, and when you allow people to keep bees in their backyard in my neighborhood, what you're actually saying is that this $5.99 jar of honey is more valuable to the community than my dad and the other 4,000 residents who have life-threatening bee sting allergies. I want you to explain to me why my family should have to move and find a safer city for my dad to live in. I want you to explain to me why you feel it's so important to let property owners keep bees. Just produce a few jars of honey. Why jars of honey, which you can buy anywhere, are more important than my dad and worth risking his and others' lives. I can't and choose not to believe that you think that it's okay to keep bees in residents' yards with no consideration that 1/1000th of a bee sting. My dad's arm swelled up about this much. For people like you and me, it's no problem. But for people like my dad, it's a life or death situation. I think that the ideal place to put a beehive is in a forest next to the lake in the middle of nowhere. I do agree that the middle of nowhere is easy to find and hard to get out of, but still, many people can die from one little bee sting. And the EpiPen does help a little bit, but it only gives you a few minutes. And so if you think that you didn't make a mistake by letting people keep bees in their backyard, then look me in the eye and tell me that one jar of honey is more important than my dad's life. And if you agree with me that you did make a mistake, tell me you'll fix it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Great job, Emily. Rebecca Doherty.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Doherty. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us today. I'm at 3267 South Hoyt Way. And one thing that I think is a serious issue is that a lot of people don't realize how many people really are allergic to bees, even people you know. Councilman Roybal is allergic to bees. Councilwoman Harrison's husband is allergic to bees and has to carry a hat and an EpiPen. Our next-door neighbor is allergic to bees. If he were stung, he would have to go to the hospital. I have coworkers who are allergic to bees. My husband's brother has a life-threatening allergy to bees. My husband has a life-threatening allergy to bees. I think it's much more common than people really realize. To those of you who do not have severe bee allergies or do not have family members who have severe bee allergies, you do not understand the seriousness of allowing bees in residential backyards in highly populated areas. Just 4 houses away, there's a resident who is keeping 2 hives in his backyard, 60,000 bees, he told me. He is in violation, and we are going through the process to get him to comply. But even if he gets a permit, gets rid of one of the hives, provides the required barriers and the required water supply for them, we will still be faced with 30,000 bees flying near our home. Near my husband every day. I spoke to this novice beekeeper, and he talked like he felt that he was an expert on the subject, but clearly he was not. Do you realize how dangerous it is to allow anyone with a big enough lot, 6,000 square feet or more, to keep bees in their yard with very few guidelines? If our neighbor does comply, he will still get to keep 30,000 bees, 4 houses away from us. That is 30,000 more chances that my husband could die from a bee sting. My best friend since I was 16 years old. I don't care about noise. I don't care about smell. You can keep your goats. You can keep your chickens. But please, leave the beekeeping to the professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. That exhausts the list of those who indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Would anyone else in chambers wish to speak? All right. With that, public comment is closed. Any questions or comments from City Council? I would just say that, oh, great, get your honey, yeah. We appreciate, to Wayne and Emily and Rebecca, we appreciate you coming out tonight. As you alluded to, our staff, our code enforcement staff became aware of this problem, I want to say late last week. And as you alluded to, they're working on it. Certainly, one of the reasons for having an ordinance is the ability to address situations like this, where somebody is operating without a permit and having more hives than they are allowed to. The process of getting to where we are in our zoning ordinance was a very public, very long, thorough 3.5-year process. And anyone that was around during that process, and many of the folks up here will tell you that the whole segment on urban agriculture was by far the most the topic that engendered the most interest by a wide-ranging group of members in our community. So I would just gently push back by saying we considered all aspects of this ordinance, including the possibility that some folks might be allergic to it. So we got to where we got. This is a very complicated zoning ordinance through some very thoughtful and extensive communication. So we will be monitoring the situation with your neighbor very, very closely, and we're going to get that into compliance as soon as we possibly can. Councilor Harrison?
I would just like for us to take notice in what the Dohertys did tell us, and that was that the number of bees and some other things might be something that when we get ready to do another update and looking at our zoning ordinances, maybe we need to look at the tightening of those regulations, because she brought some really good points about the fact that this person is obviously not abiding by code anyway, but we may need to tighten the numbers or something there that can control that a little bit more. Thank you.
Yeah, agreed. And when we get a chance to take a look at it again, and certainly, I guess the last thing I'll say is I'm glad we have this ordinance in place that allows us to address this situation, because absent the ordinance, this was going on all over the community, and really, really tough to control. So now we have the ordinance in place to begin to bring some of these situations that are out of line into line. All right, we will now move on to the consent agenda. And the use of the consent agenda has been made to expedite council action. It contains both resolutions and first reading ordinances. There is one resolution on the consent agenda tonight. Those are items of a routine nature that the public will have an opportunity to comment on in a moment. First reading ordinances appear on the agenda only for the purpose of setting future public hearing dates and ordering the newspaper publication of the proposed ordinance. So therefore, no public comment will be heard tonight on the first reading ordinances, and there are three, items 9, 10, and 11. The public will have an opportunity to comment on the proposed ordinance during the scheduled public hearings on the dates set tonight by City Council. And I would add, these are not rezoning ordinances. So all three of them we can talk to you about at any time, and certainly we've already received a lot of communication from many folks in the community, which we appreciate. Any council member may request an item on the consent agenda be removed for separate discussion and action under general business. Will the clerk please read the items of the consent agenda into the record?
The consent agenda consists of items 8 through 13 inclusive. Item 8, Resolution 2014-22, supporting a grant application to Great Outdoors Colorado, requesting funding for flooding remediation at Bear Creek Lake Park. Item 9, Ordinance 2014-14, amending sections 9.38.010, 9.38.020, 9.38.030, and 9.38.040 of Title IX of the Lakewood Municipal Code to include prohibitions on electronic smoking devices. Item 10, Ordinance 2014-15, prohibiting certain categories of marijuana businesses within the city of Lakewood, including marijuana cultivation facilities, marijuana-infused products manufacturing facilities, and marijuana testing, research, and development facilities, pursuant to Amendment 64 to the Colorado Constitution, prohibiting marijuana enterprises and making it unlawful to perform hash oil extractions within the city of Lakewood. Item 11, Ordinance 2014-16, submitting to the registered electors of the City of Lakewood at a special city election to be held on November 4th, 2014, the question of whether the city should prohibit retail marijuana centers within the City of Lakewood pursuant to Amendment 64 to the Colorado Constitution, setting the ballot title, providing for the conduct of the election, and authorizing the city clerk to enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the Jefferson County Clerk and Recorder to conduct the election as a coordinated election.
Item 12, approving the minutes of the regular city council meetings of February 24th, March 24th, April 14th, April 28th, and May 12th, 2014. And item 13, accepting the minutes of the Advisory Commission for an Inclusive Community, their Executive Commission meetings of March 5th, April 2nd, and May 7th, 2014, and their full commission meetings of March 19th and April 16th, 2014.
Thank you. Just by way of background, I know we're not approving any of these ordinances tonight. Again, they're just on first reading, but it might be helpful for anybody here in chambers tonight or, again, watching us at home or on our website to briefly set a little bit of historical context as to why we're talking about these ordinances at this point in time. Most recently, we had a study session in mid-May that got us to this point, the recommendation of City Council at that time to move forward to drafting actually all three of these ordinances. Now, the one on electronic smoking devices, item 9, is obviously not connected to the two ordinances on marijuana, but in terms of time and place, we addressed that topic during the same study session in mid-May, and that's why it's on the schedule tonight for first reading. As far as the marijuana ordinances go, again, very briefly, Amendment 64 divided the marijuana business. Obviously, first of all, it permitted the possession of up to an ounce and consumption of marijuana for anyone in Colorado that's 21 years of age or older. Nothing we or any other local body can do will change that fact. It is legal to do that. But Amendment 64 did give local governments the authority to address several specific categories. So it divided marijuana up into the marijuana business up into cultivation, to manufacturing, so think edibles, into research kind of testing labs, and then into the retail stores that we see so much about in the paper. Amendment 64 also gave local governments the option to permit and regulate. It gave local governments the option to prohibit, and also gave us the option to send any or all of those previously mentioned 4 categories to the voters. Also, by the way, there's a 4th option, and that's an initiative option allows the public to bring something to the ballot too. So at our study session in mid-May, Council recommended, as you see in item 10, the banning of 3 of those 4 categories that are addressed under Amendment 64, that being cultivation, manufacturing, and the retail test labs. And to that, we added a couple of other things, including the hash oil extraction and also the marijuana social clubs. So that's item 10. Item 11 is the suggestion or the first reading of an ordinance that would submit the final topic, and that's whether or not there should be retail marijuana stores in Lakewood. Submit that to the voters. So that's the direction we're going. There's a lot of reasons for that. Certainly, just about 60% of the voters in Lakewood did vote to pass Amendment 64. All 5 geographic wards did approve it. And there are some questions in some people's minds about what was on the mind of the voters, so let's ask them. That's the logic behind the direction we're going tonight. So I thought it might be helpful to once again review that. And with that, I'm ready for a motion on the consent agenda.
Mayor Murphy, I move for approval of the council minutes, for acceptance of the minutes of boards and commissions, order all ordinances introduced on the first reading to be published in the Denver Post, with public hearing set for the date included in the ordinance, and for adoption of resolutions, all of which are included in the consent agenda items introduced into the record by the city clerk.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, please cast your votes. And the consent agenda passes unanimously. Again, in terms of those ordinances on electronic smoking devices and the banning of several categories of the marijuana business, and the final ordinance submitting it to the voters in terms of the retail outlets. Feel free to contact us at any time, phone, email, stop us in the aisles of the grocery store. We want to hear what everyone in the community has to say. And I would be remiss without acknowledging the presence of my good friend and former colleague, Ed Tower, longtime mayor of Aurora. Thanks, Ed. Thanks for coming out west to visit with us. He got his visa stamped at the border, right? We have a mutual trade agreement, right? Thanks, Ed. Good to be here. Or good to see you here. Excuse me. All right. Let's move on to ordinances on second reading. And will the clerk please read item 14 into the record?
Item 14, Ordinance 2014-12 as revised, amending Section 2.20.050F of the Lakewood Municipal Code pertaining to compensation of the municipal judges.
All right. I'm going to, before we have the motion in the second, I will turn this over to Karen Kellen, who chairs the subcommittee on judges' salary and has done so for many years. Karen?
Thank you. Just wanted to explain a little our thought process and how we got to this decision, and also to explain why it says revised. So originally, the ordinance that we put out there failed to include the part-time judges' salary increase. So we revised the ordinance to include all of them. What the committee did is we evaluated, we looked at the average increase for the rest of the employees in the city for the year, and we looked at the salaries for comparable positions in other locations in comparable cities as well to try to keep our judges' salaries competitive with the rest. So we ended up, and we also took into consideration some of the great work that we've been hearing about that's coming out of the judge's office with the chief judge over there now. I think the committee and most council is very pleased with the work that she's doing, especially as it relates to juveniles and domestic violence issues. So what we ended up doing was giving we gave the chief judge a 3% increase, which was in line with what most of the staff got, the average, not the high, not the low, just the average. And then we gave slightly less to the municipal judge and the part-time judges. The part-time judges are on an hourly basis, and they had not received a raise in over 2 years. So we decided it was time to give them a little bump, even though their rates are on the higher side of it. So that's pretty much how we came to the decision, and just thought you all should know that.
And the members of the committee, one from each ward, you might mention who they are and the result of your internal vote? It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while. Let's see. One, Scott Coop is in 2, Pete Roybal, Dave Wickman, and Tom Quinn, yes. It has been a while since we met.
It has been.
And the vote was unanimous.
Great. All right. With that, I'm ready for a motion in a second, and then we can have any questions or comments following that.
I move for the adoption of ordinance.
You know what? I need to open up a public hearing on this and give the public an opportunity to comment before we do the motion. No one has signed up on the roster to indicate a desire to speak. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on this item? All right. With that, we'll close public comment. Now I'm ready for a motion.
I move for the adoption of ordinance 2014-12 on second and final reading.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments from council? If not, please cast your votes. And the motion passes unanimously. I'd like to thank Councilor Kellen and the entire committee. These are, it sounds simple enough, but it's very complex, and there's a lot of mitigating factors. So thank you for all your hard work and very concise explanation tonight. Thanks. Will the clerk please read item 15 into the record?
Item 15, Ordinance 2014-13, authorizing the purchase of a network fiber router, including a supplemental appropriation to the 2014 annual budget in the grant fund.
Again, I will now open up the public hearing on this item. No one has indicated a desire to speak by signing up on the roster. Would anyone in chambers wish to comment on this item? All right, with that, I will close the public comment portion of it, and I'm ready for a motion.
I move for the adoption of Ordinance 2014-13 on second and final reading.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comment from City Council? If not, please cast your votes. And the motion passes unanimously. Andrew, congratulations. Sir, Information Technology Director sitting in the back row, anxiously awaiting the outcome of the vote for much-needed infrastructure. So congratulations. All right. Margie, any general business?
None.
Ms. Hodson, executive report.
Yes, thank you. I have one thing to report. I would like to publicly recognize a fellow Lakewood resident who happens to be my neighbor. Last Saturday, Stacy Cook won Miss Colorado.
Oh, wow.
And she will be going to the Miss America competition, I think, this fall. So congratulations to one of Lakewood's own. Stacy Cook is Miss Colorado.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. On to Mayor and City Council reports. So it's been several weeks since we've met, and obviously there's been a lot going on. I won't try to recap 5 weeks or so of what's happened in Lakewood. I just want to mention one item, and that is on Friday we got the news via the Denver Post that the 40 West Arts District was designated by Colorado Creative Industries as an officially recognized art district. So that opens. They were an emerging district last year, and they've graduated to the next step. So that opens up certainly some opportunities for grant writing and other fundraising. But mostly, it's a recognition of the incredible amount of work that's gone on up there for the last couple of years by Bill Marino and Julie Byerling and Carrie Mesh and so many others. So certainly I don't want to speak for the rest of City Council. They might have their own things to say, but it's really a tremendous milestone. So congratulations to everyone at 40 West. It's a very good deal, very neat deal. So congrats. Adam, anything?
Just two quick things. Thanks for all the folks who came out to our ward meeting. And we will not be meeting in July, so we'll come back in August with some sort of program or barbecue, but don't come out in July. And I would also like to congratulate a citizen who won her first election this week, and that's our city manager, Ms. Hodson, was elected. She was appointed prior to the CML board, and this past week was elected to the CML board as a representative. So it's really important for the city of Lakewood. Councilmember Wilson was the former president, as we've had many people in leadership. So thank you for your willingness to serve and letting us campaign for you. Yeah.
To somebody who doesn't like to run for office, you got the most votes of any candidate. Congratulations. She's going enough already. Scott? No. Shakti?
In lieu of our Saturday ward meeting this month, we're having a picnic, so everyone should come. Lasley Park, 12 o'clock.
Pete?
Great. I just got one item. This last weekend, I attended the first annual Rocky Mountain Vet Fest in the Lakewood Heritage Center at Belmar. It was a great venue, great place. It was fantastic. Great success, and thank you.
Amy.
Thank you. I'd also like to say at the Colorado Municipal League Conference that our very own Karen Harrison is now on the Colorado Women in Government Board. Is that correct?
Hey, congrats. Okay.
Also, this Saturday, Ward 1 is hosting an event right here at the Police Administration Building at 445 South Allison Parkway at 9 o'clock in the morning. And Lynn Johnson, who is the Director of Human Services with the county, will be coming and speaking on the very timely and important issue of human trafficking. She is also bringing a prosecutor from the Special Victims Unit to come and talk about her work with child prostitution. For those of you who saw the news tonight, the FBI had a national sting for child prostitution, and it looks like several hundred children were actually saved within the last day or two. So this is something that's out there. My hope is that after you come and listen to what Lynn has to say, you will understand and recognize an odd situation when you see it and feel comfortable and know whom to call. You might save a child's life. So please come and join us this Saturday at 9 o'clock in the Police Administration Building. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom.
Thank you. Just an announcement that Karen Harrison, or Councilor Harrison, made last month, and that is we are moving our Ward 5 meetings from the third Friday to the third Saturday of the month and relocating to Bear Valley Church on Jewel. And those meetings will be at 8:30 a.m. on the third Saturday of each month. And for June, because both of us were out of town, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be having a walking meeting this coming Saturday, June 28th at Cottonwood Park in Lakewood at 8:30 a.m. And just come out, walk around the lake a few times with your city councilors and bring any concerns that you have. So it'll be at 8:30 a.m. This coming Saturday at Cottonwood Park. Thank you.
Anything? All right. Karen.
Yes, I just want to take notice of something going on this summer that has been going on for I don't know how long, but Camp Paha. It's a great program, and they've come in front of us for many years, and this week it really was brought home to me what a great program it is, because my Pilates teacher has a disabled son. And I stopped by to do a workout, and she had a friend with her who also has a disabled son, and they were both in Camp Paha for the day. And they talked about how nice it is for the 3 weeks in June and 3 weeks in July when they know that their sons are safe and cared for and loved, and that the people who work there are just so kind to them, and they just take such good care of them. And they both started crying as they were talking to me about this. That's how important this program was to them. And my Pilates teacher is a Lakewood resident. The other woman is from out of town, but she pays an extra fee for the camp. And it's just such a fabulous service to be able to have that, because I know how hard it is to deal with that day in and day out, and what the life is like there. So having that opportunity to know that your child is safe and having fun and being cared for is just kind of an amazing thing. And I just want to thank the city for doing this program.
Thank you so much for bringing that up. It's a collaboration between the Friends of Paha Foundation and the City of Lakewood, and it is the metro area's only summer camp for disabled children. So it's incredibly valuable. So thank you for highlighting it. Dave? No report. Karen?
A couple of things. Congratulations to Kathy. That was really fun getting to campaign for you. I really enjoyed that. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is Lakewood will be having a senior wellness fair this Friday, June 27th, at the Link Recreation Center from 9 until 2. It'll be a great place to find out about all different kinds of wellness programs available for seniors and other things that might be interesting to seniors as well. Financial information, medical coverage, etc. So I think it's a great time for seniors to come out to the Link Center. There'll be food, too. Food. Thank you.
Margie, anything?
No report.
Tim? Kathy? All right, we are adjourned at 7:43. Thank you.